Well, your subconscious mind, some people call it the superconscious mind, is very different to your conscious mind. First.
Hello, this is Esther Hicks, and this is the Law of Attraction Workshop Series. This seminar was recorded on board Celebrity's beautiful Solstice ship the week of July 12th through the 19th of 2019.
I've been in a career for a long time, and I work harder than anyone else I know.
We know that. Can you hear him?
And I've had a mantra that says my income's always increasing, and it has. But my work always increases too. So I go in earlier, I stay later, and I'm exhausted. And so I'd like to know, I must have a belief that says you have to work hard to have abundance.
Well, either you really don't want to work hard, but you think about working hard so much that you have to work hard.
Okay.
Or you like to work hard. Which is it?
Well, it feels like the harder I work, the less anxiety I have. So,
Do you like to focus?
yes.
As you're speaking about work, usually when our human friends talk about work, they mean that thing I have to do that I don't want to do. And we say, that's not good for you. When there is something that you really don't want to do that you are doing, you have split energy. And that split energy makes you ineffective because you don't have any universal resources that you are tapped into. You're not feeling the inspiration from that alignment. Then one thing just leads to another. I really don't want to work, so I split my energy. But I still work, and then I get tired, but I still work with split energy, and now I'm exhausted. And so it's a cycle that requires a different way of looking at this. We really want all of you to hear us when we say, this is not a conversation about offering action or not offering action. This is not a conversation about how much you are actually doing. This is a conversation about what your state of alignment or not alignment is before you do the doing. Because we know for sure, when you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, so that you are in the receiving mode and receiving inspiration to do this or that then the experience of the doing this or that is delicious experience. In fact, you know that from the things that you do that you like to do. But when you split your physical, human activities into piles and you say, these are the things that I like to do, and these are the things that I don't like to do, and these are the things that I don't like to do that I have to do, now you are just setting yourself up for split energy, and that's why you're tired. Life isn't fun unless you're inspired. Life isn't really fun unless you are utilizing the energies that create worlds to assist you. You have all of this energy that you have tapped into enough to know what it feels like when you're in sync with that, and you just can't stand it when you're not. But you haven't yet convinced yourself that you could feel like that all the time. It's a mental adjustment. It's a decision that you make. And here's the decision that if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would make. Here's the best analogy. It's a little goofy, but it's our favorite. So you've decided or been assigned to vacuum the living room rug. And you don't bother to plug the vacuum in, but you go after it anyway. You make lots of wheel marks all over the room. And you don't do a good job. Sort of looks like you did, but you didn't. The wheel marks seem like, yeah, I was there, see? There are my tracks. But I didn't actually get the job done that I meant to get done because you didn't hook into the power first. You didn't connect to the current that will give you your true productivity and your true feeling of success. And by success, we mean that joyful feeling, that satisfying feeling that you get when you have a desire and you are moving in the direction of it.
So I have that feeling at my second job, which is my own practice. In my practice at a corporate job, I didn't feel that at all.
So let's talk about why. What we were just describing here is the difference between being tuned in to this non-physical energy and then experiencing not only the clarity that comes from that, not only the good timing that comes from that, but the refreshment that constantly comes from that. If you're not tuned into it, or if you're pinched off from it, it's because you've got resistance. And the resistance is related to beliefs that don't jive. So what beliefs will help you find them? But just off the top of your head, what beliefs do you know that you hold that are working against you?
I think the one is I feel like I have to do this corporate job because it provides all of these things in life that give me security, but I don't really like the work that goes with it.
If we waited for a while, we think you could give us a longer list, but we want to be more clear about the question that we are asking. We sort of tricked you a little bit there, because you answered a perfectly logical question about what it is that you don't like about that, or what is it that you can feel is in your way about that. But now let us rephrase the question so that you can be more keen to really what we are reaching for. What is it that you are willing to think about that job that keeps you from plugging into the current of the source energy? What beliefs do you drag along with you year after year that are still active within you about working for someone else? You're about to do the same thing that you did before, so we want to be clear about. So what beliefs do you have that are more important to you than hooking into universal power and clarity and success and happiness?
Doesn't sound like any of them that would be good at this point.
Doesn't sound like any of them are worth it.
No.
It sounds like you and a whole bunch of other people, in fact almost everyone, are dragging around beliefs that you have convinced yourself are valid. And maybe they are. We're not saying that they're not statistically accurate. We're not saying that if you took a poll of the world that there wouldn't be more people who would agree with you than would disagree with you. But that wasn't our question. We said, what is it that you are using as your excuse to work against yourself and your true power?
Fear.
Well, fear is the way you feel when you're doing it. Fear is the immediate result of doing that. But what we're reaching for from you is, I don't know, Abraham, I don't know what it is, but I sure don't mean to do it anymore. And so what we're getting at is, it is such a normal thing for your life, your experience in life, your exposure to others, your experience in watching others, your exposure to what others have said about a lot of things. It is the most natural thing in the world for you to have picked up beliefs along your physical trail that are valid but that don't serve you. This is our point. We're not for a minute saying to you that your beliefs are bogus or inaccurate. We're saying activating them doesn't help you. In fact, it hinders you. So why do you do it? This is the most important question that anyone has ever asked anyone. Why do you activate beliefs that are valid that work against you in regards to your desires? Why do you do it? Momentum is one thing. Everybody does it. Everybody thinks it. Get around a dinner table and just listen to what they talk about. 99% of what most people talk about at most dinner tables does not serve them in terms of allowing them to align with source energy.
Yeah, it takes me back to childhood of thinking about who are you to stand out. Like that seems to be the core of it. Like why does everybody else have to have a hard time and you get to?
You've come right to something really important. So what we're taking away from what you just said is I have been trained to care how others respond to me. So therefore, I am doing the normal thing because I care about what they all think rather than caring about my connection to source energy. Now we're going to put it in even more blunt terms. I care more about connecting with them than I do about connecting with love, clarity, resources. Now, that's all right, because we get how it happens, and we know that it happens so gradually that sometimes you don't even know you're doing it. But when you feel that fear or any negative emotion, that's your indicator that you're making a choice that your inner being isn't in harmony with, and therefore the negative emotion is your indicator of the choice that you have made. Every time. Every time you feel negative emotion, you could say, oh, I feel fear. And someone close to you might say, what does that mean? And you'd say, that means that I'm focusing on something less powerful and denying something really powerful. Oh, they would say, how interesting is that? Oh, I feel anger. What does that mean, your friend says? That means that I'm focused upon something that has very little power in my life experience. And in the process, I'm denying my true resources, my true connectivity to my true self. And after a little while, nobody's going to ask you those questions because they're all doing it too, and you're not going to give them those answers. But we would like you to recognize you have to, if you want to be the powerful creator that you were born to be, you have to realize that you've been making choices because most of the world is making those kinds of choices. And frankly, you care so much about what those who are looking at you are thinking about you that you would sacrifice your true power so you wouldn't stand out in a weird way. You don't want to be successful in a world that isn't thriving. Is that what you're saying? You don't want to stand in perfect health and clarity in a world that is sick and confused. Is that what you're saying?
Not that you put it that way.
Because we promise you, you can't get sick enough to help sick people get well or confused enough to help confused people find clarity. When you tap into it and you demonstrate what life is like when you're tapped into that. And so we went right to it, didn't we? Because we could spend a seminar or 2 or 5 or 10 talking about how you could feel better about some of those beliefs that you hold. But we have all evolved to a stronger way of looking at this. And that is to say, there are thoughts you think that don't help you and thoughts you think that do help you, and you can tell by the way you feel which is which. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely.
Thank you.
So think about how beliefs are formed and how easy it is to get swept up into the current of human beliefs. And we know beliefs vary around the world a bit, but human beliefs are rampant, and most people believe the human beliefs to some extent, and many of them serve you. We're not trying to talk you out of your beliefs. But we would like to draw your attention to something that most people don't consider often, and we think it is the most significant thing to consider. Before you came into this physical body, you were source energy, and that means you were pure positive energy. That means you were existing in a realm of non-resistant thought. Doesn't it sort of kind of feel to you like you would like to maybe occasionally catch a glimpse of that? Now, we're just going to say this to you, and don't take it the wrong way, and don't be upset about it. Well, do what you want. But here's the thing. You are not, as long as you're in your physical body, ever going to be in a consistent state of non-resistant thought. Not till you croak. But we don't think you should have to croak in order to taste it and know it and use it as your touchstone and use it as your mechanism to reach for powerful thoughts and powerful states of being. We think that if you know about it, if you know that the vacuum cleaner works better when you plug it in, that it should be easier for you to remember next time that you do a bad job of vacuuming your living room. And we think that next time you feel unhappy about your work and you find yourself, it doesn't even matter if you're effective around your discomfort. You're never as effective in discomfort as you are in joy. Ever, 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 ever. You're going through the motions. You might sew someone up or you might help them out in some way, but you're not at your best. And that's what's bugging you. That's what this feeling of lack of control is that you're feeling. It's the lack of controlling myself to give my best at all times. You have had enough glimpses of who you are in that powerful state. And at many levels of your being, even cellular levels, you know what it's like to be tuned in to that energy. And you just can't stand it when you're not. And it's so easy to think that it has something to do with somebody else other than you. And it does in this regard. They've trained you to make you want to behave in ways that please them. So, you just run around trying to second guess what they really want, trying to please them in this way and that way, and if there's only one of them, it's pretty easy, except that they're fickle and they never are satisfied with you. And so, most of you are not that happy because you're looking for love in all the wrong places. You're looking for it among your human friends, which they're nice bunch. We acknowledge that. But you're not ever going to find what you're looking for when you're looking for your power in those conditional ways.